All right, so before we went on break, we talked about proportions. So before we go into the new stuff, I want to make sure that we review it just because it's been a while and I want to make sure that we're on the same page. So if you think back, I want you first to open your book up to page 122. And it's not going to have these problems. Page 122 will not have these problems, but you can use that blank space at the bottom and we can do these problems. So remember when we did our proportions before break. We had our part over whole and equaled our part over our whole. So if you're thinking about our part over our whole, there's going to be two of these. So on the first side, we always had our percentages. So our percent part of percentage is 30 over our whole percentage is always 100. Equals, is 92 our part or is 92 our whole? Is 92 our part or our whole? It is our whole. So when we do that, that equals 92. So we have now our proportion, which y'all were rocking at solving before we went on break. We do that butterfly method. And when you do that, you should have gotten 27 and 6/10. That's saying 30% of 92 is 27 and 6/10. So if we do the same thing for this one, do we know our part percent? No. So that's going to be X. Do we know our whole percent? 100. Always 100. Don't forget it. Equals, is 19 our part or is 103 our part? What makes the most sense? The smaller number, 19 to be on top, 103 to be on bottom. So now do our butterfly method. And you should get about what? 18 and how many tenths or hundredths? If we round that second 4, it would be a 5. And obviously, if it's out of 100%, then this is a percent as well. Okay? So keep that in mind. I want you now to look at page 123. I want you to star this math tip that you see on the right side. Star, circle, highlight, whatever you need to do. Okay? Now it says, that tells you what a veterinarian is if you do not already know. Then it tells you that there are this many veterinarians in 2010. It says that there needs to be 22,000 more by 2013. They want to know what that increase is. They want to know what that increase is. Okay? So, if we do the same thing we were just talking about, we can use this. That'd be kind of like the equation that people liked before break, or we can write it as a proportion. So, what is our difference? How many more are they going to need? $22,000. All right. Out of how many did they start out with? 61,400 equals X out of 100. X percent out of 100%. If we solve that, what is our percent increase? $35%. 35% or 35 and 8/10% more veterinarians than we have right now. All right? So, it says, what would the percent decrease be if there were to be 10,000 fewer veterinarians in 2013. So I put up here what the numbers from that page are for me, but you're still on the same page, on page 123. This math tip should already be starred, circled, whatever it may be. So what would the percent decrease be if there are 10,000 fewer? So our difference, right, is our 10,000 over our original amount, which was 61,400, equals or times 100 or equals x over 100. Solve it like we have been doing. So that is about 16, and how many tenths percent if you round it? 0.3%. Okay? That's all we are doing. So if you do the same thing, this one doesn't tell you what the difference is. That's your step one, is to find it. So this usually sells for $12.50, was put on sale for $8.50. So first, let's find our difference. What is $12.50 minus $8.50? How many dollars is that? How many cents is that? Oops, that's supposed to be 50, my bad. So when you do that, 0, 0, 12 minus 8 is 4. We'll just do it that way. So then we have $4 in a difference over, what was the original amount? $12.50 or $8.50? Which one's the original amount of the CD or the album? $12.50. And then we're just going to times that by 100. So what is $4 divided by $12.50 times 100? 32%. Our percent decrease is 32%. All right? So same things. 925, 1110 is what it was increased to. So first, find the difference. 1110 minus 925. So we have $1.85 over, what was the original amount? 925 or 1110? 925. And then I'm so used to doing proportions, so I'm just going to stick with that x over 100. And if I solve this, I end up with x equals how much percent? 20%. And the biggest thing to remember is this is increase. Sometimes it's decrease, sometimes it's increase. But just remember, one goes up, increase, one goes down, decrease. All right? So looking at page 124 now, page 124, and I just pulled this math tip onto this page. If you want to write it down on that page, that's perfectly fine as well. So Dr. Norris Pigeon's practice sees 125 cats in 2010. 24 and 0.8% of cats were classified as obese compared to 21 and 0.6% in 2011. Find the percent decrease in the obese cats in 1 year. Okay? So don't get confused because they're giving you percentages already. We're still looking at what is the difference from this percent to this percent. What's the difference? Okay? So what is that difference if I subtract them? 3 and 2/10, and I'm going to put a little arrow that way y'all know, over, what was the original percent of obese cats? 24 and 8/10 equals x over 100. So it's about what? Now, my question to you is that an increase in obesity or a decrease in obesity? So remember, make sure you remember that's a decrease. From 24 to 21, you went down. All right? Now, I want you to try this last one on your own. Pause it, do it, and then come back and see if you did it the way that I did it. If you did it right, you should have gotten 4 and 8/10%. 4 and 8/10%. Okay? So they had an increase of obesity about 5%, whereas the cat's obesity went down. All right? Those are the only problems you had to worry about in your book. So go on to the next part of this module.